Hey there, creative Unity devs. So you have yourself an Arduino. You already have Playmaker and you're wondering how you bring them together. Let me show you. So you can see here I have Arduino Mega board. I have a switch connected to it. That's connected to pin 7 is the input. I have the switch set up in a pull-up configuration, so or rather the input is configured with pull-up, and the switch will actually pull the voltage down. We have an LED as well. The LED is connected to pin 3. Yeah. So we're going to need a digital out on pin 3 and a digital in on pin 7. Let's have a look at how we set this up in Unity with Kreation.Arduino.Playmaker. Okay, so I've got a new scene in Unity. What I've done is I have just created this little UI, sort of beginning UI canvas thing. Now let's make a game object for the Playmaker Arduino. So I go game object creation Playmaker Arduino, and we can see over on the right here we have an inspector for the Arduino board component. Here's our Arduino for Playmaker game object. Now the Arduino is connected via USB. If I do hit this detect Arduino button, we can see that it's scanned and found the Arduino, so that's automatically detected. Now because it's a Mega, it's got lots of pins. We don't need all of these pins, so I'm going to delete actually all of them, and then I'll add just the ones I want. Or I could leave 2 and reconfigure them, no biggie. Okay. It's a bit easier on a Uno, there aren't as many pins. Okay, so pin 3 is for LED out, so I'll just say LED, and that's a digital out. And now notice here, so this has currently got pin 52 selected. So, and if I say go with pin 60, just to show you something, pin 60, that should be a digital, analog in, analog out. Yeah, so there's analog input. And you'll notice that it's actually got these modes from the capability of the board. So it's detecting and asking the board for how many pins it supports and what modes they have. So all that's automatic. So if you have a Uno, it'll come up with different things. Okay, we want pin 7, and that's going to be our switch. Now it's just my convention that I'm using capital letters for that name. So the idea is this label should be a meaningful label, and that makes it much easier to deal with actions and events rather than trying to remember pin numbers. So we have digital input for our switch, and that's fine. Now because all the names are unique, this is saying this is all okay, and it's a valid pin number, and it's therefore all the pins are ready to use. So this is ready to go in terms of output, but if you're going to make input, which we want with the switch, I need to associate this with a Playmaker state machine. And we can see here that it's saying there's no Playmaker FSM configured, so we need to set one up. Okay, so let's do that. We'll add a component. In fact, I can do it even from here. Right click, add FSM. And that's actually added the component to our Arduino for Playmaker. Okay, so now we want to just set this up in here. If I click and choose that, now it's got the Arduino for Playmaker, which is the same object, but it's detected the Playmaker FSM component. So now this is ready to go, and which means the switch can create events. If I only want to just talk to write out to the LED, I don't need to do this step. It's only because I want the board to generate events and send it to a Playmaker state machine that I have to tell it where to send it. Okay, because the switch is digital input, it could be high or low, so I need to define those events. So over here, let's add events. So switch equals low is one event, and switch equals high is another event. And if I'd called it switch 1 or push, button 1, something like this, then it would have been button 1 equals high, button 1 equals low. So whatever this label name is what needs to be on the left side there. Okay, so now we've got our events. We can make some states. What we'll do is, just to show the switch working, we're going to create some UI panels in here, and we'll make it that when you turn the switch on or off, the panels will turn on and off accordingly. So just as a very simple set of things. So let's make the UI over here in the canvas. So let's change this to say heading, because it's really a heading panel. And I'm screaming because I still had caps lock on. Heading panel. Okay, so here, add a UI. Where are you, panel? Panel. Now, we want this. In fact, I tell you what, let's make this panel. This will be where our controls will go. We'll set up a sort of a sub panel arrangement. So this will be up to 0.8. The heading panel goes up to 0.8. So I'm just setting this up so that the anchors here will align with the anchors there. And now I can set up one panel in, sub children panels inside here. Okay, so that's that. We'll make this maybe some kind of darkish grey. Get rid of the alpha. Okay, now come back. Call it main. Inside here we'll add another panel. This will be on the left and it'll be for off, so up to 0.5. And we'll give it some text. Provide text. And we'll just center it. We'll make it large, so 80. Oh. Then it can take up the whole parent panel, like that. Okay, so now let's duplicate this. So this will be off. This will be for on, and instead of 0 to 0.5, it will be 0.5 to 1. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's put a little offset here. Let's maybe make it 5 pixels in, just for kicks. And now the off will make it, let's see, what's a good off kind of colour? Let's say a darkish blue. And let's change the text to be white. And we should change the message. So this is switch is off. And over here, we will make this green. Get rid of the alpha. and we'll make this switch is on. Okay, so there's our two panels that we want to control. Let's, what we'll do is we'll associate states in here for switches on, switches off, and set them up to control these two panels. So the first state here is switch is off, and let's add another state, switch is on. Now if it's off, let's add a transition. So if it's off in the off state, but the switch gets turned on, which means it goes to high, then we want to go from this state of off to on. And if we're over here and somebody turns the switch off, which means low, we want to go back. So that's pretty simple. So those are our events set up. And actually, if I hit play now, we should see that change state. Nothing else will happen, but we should see this change state when I turn the switch on and off. So let's try that. Always good to test as you go. So now if I change the state, we can see, sure enough, just by changing the switch, it's changed over here. And we can see this is working quite nicely. Okay, so let's finish the demo, but I think you get the idea of what's going on. Now, in each, sorry, back to the state. So over here, we want our activate game object. What we're going to do here is specify the game object. We're going to drag in the one panel here. In fact, we're going to do this twice. Okay, so if it's in the off state, we want the panel off to be active and the on panel to be deactivated. For the switch is on, it's going to be the opposite thing. So bring in this twice, make it specify and specify, drag in the panel off and the panel on. Now for the switches on, we want the panel off to be inactive and we want the other one to be active. Okay, which just means which of these panels here will be visible. Now if we hit play, the switch's off state is driving this one to be on, or that panel to be active, that rather. Look at that. So now we have Playmaker getting events from this switch through the Arduino, through the USB cable, controlling Unity. So there's the physical world interacting with the virtual world. That was nice and easy. What we can do as a last step is we can make this LED turn on as an extra action. So just to see what that's like, let's collapse those two. We'll notice, let's collapse this. From this Actions tab, we'll now have, be near the top, the Arduino set of actions, which is again something from Kreation.Arduino.Playmaker. We can change a digital LED state, and there's nice error messages that tell you what need to be done. So here we need to choose our label. Our output label is called LED. So let's put that in there, and we can see that that error message has gone away. For the switches off, we want the LED to be off, so we'll leave this empty. This toggle, leave it empty. For the switches on, let's just collapse those. We'll drag in the digital LED again. Again, we're going to use LED. This time we turn it on. Now if we hit play and see what happens, Okay, switch is off, the LED is off. Let's turn the switch on. And the LED is on and searingly bright, and the switch is on. So we can see that works. There's a bit of discharge happening there. It takes a little while for the and also this is not a perfect connection on the switch. I need to solder that for a better connection. But anyway, we can see that that's working reasonably well, and the Arduino is controlling the LED out through these actions. So that's the demo complete.